This is highwithoutcoke, and in today's video I'm going to show you a strong but cheap league starter build that can carry you all the way to killing Ubers with reasonable investment. Before that, just to save your time, this build is not solo self-found viable. So look either way if you want a SSF build. This is a crate called Shockwave Totem Hierophant. Shockwave Totem is a pure physical spell. There are multiple ways to scale its damage, but in this build, we equip Rimsour unique gloves to convert all physical damage into cold damage. This allows us to use things like cold penetration and hatred aura to achieve high damage. I use Beta Dream unique scepter as my main weapon. As you can see, all the support gems are good for scaling cold damage. The chills and freeze act as a layer of defense and make me feel very safe while mapping. Socket your main skill here and you will get a pseudo 9 link. You can start equipping this scepter at level 32. However, I highly recommend that you equip this after finishing the campaign or you may encounter some mana issues. Thrill Steel is another unique item I use that gives permanent onslaught. Shockwave Totem scales very well with cast speed, so it is important to get cast speed on your gears, mainly your jewelry. For other stats, look for life, resistances, and attributes. Shockwave Totem has an obvious weakness in that it can only hit enemies if they are within range, and with knockback, the enemies are always pushed out of range that you need to keep resummoning your totems, which can be annoying. In this case, Astral Projector unique ring is going to help your totems a lot. With Astral Projector, you can place your totems anywhere and they will cast the Nova spells directly on the enemies. It should cost around 30C on league start. Of course, you can clear tier 16 maps fine without it, but buying Astral Projector should be a top priority if you want to start doing harder contents. Alright, let's get into the POB of this build. These 3 uniques I mentioned before are all you need to start mapping up to tier 16 maps. You don't need life on your body armor because when taking this life mastery, we get 15% increased life if there are no life modifiers on our body armor. We don't have increased totem life from anywhere, so anoint ironwood to prevent your totems from dying quickly. This is especially important when you reach raid maps. But don't worry, the oils you need for this are very cheap. Your top priority after this is buying Astral Projector unique ring. You can replace this helmet once you get your Sleepless Sentries cluster jewel. Use Essence of Loading to craft increased mana reservation efficiency on your helmet. This will do until you have the currency to switch to Devouring Diadem. At this point, you can start using these unique flasks. They shouldn't be too expensive. This is the set of gears I used back in 3.22. I crafted this scepter myself and you can find a crafting video in the description below. Devouring Diadem gives Eldritch Battery, which allows us to reserve all our mana and spend energy shield instead for skills. Together with this shield, they are crucial for fitting all our auras into this build. When buying Skin of the Lords, make sure that you get correct socket colors because they cannot be modified by any means, including tainted chromatics. After equipping this, you can unspec Ancestral Bond from your skill tree. Leadership's Prize is a great amulet in terms of both offense and defense. Scorch lowers enemies' elemental resistances. Brittle increases our critical strike chance while Sap causes enemies to deal less damage. To get these confluxes, your 2 highest attributes must be equal, like this. My intelligence is higher than my strength by 70, but with the return of tattoos, you should be able to match your 2 highest attributes easily. Of course, don't forget to anoint your amulet. When you reach late game, you want to use a pair of red gloves instead of Rimsour. So how do we convert all physical damage to cold damage? First, we get this cold mastery that converts 40% of physical damage to cold damage. another 39% on Watcher's Eye, then another 20% on my gloves. I know this is 99%, but you can try to get 25% on your gloves Eldritch implicit. Then you will have 100%. Another source of physical conversion is by crafting the prefix on your gloves. The highest you can get is 25%. This build has a 100% chance to avoid elemental ailments, 30% from Astral Projector, 51% from my boots, and another 20% from the shield mastery. I run 6 auras on this build. I got mana reservation efficiency from my skill tree, Enlighten level 4, Charisma Annoyed, Devouring Diadem, and my shield. Let's say if you still miss a little bit of mana after getting all this, you can try getting some mana on your gears. This build has around a 98% crit chance without Bottle Faith, thanks to Brittle Conflux by Leadership's Prize. To hit Brittle Cap for Uber bosses, I took this critical mastery and got Militant Faith with the mod increased effects of non-damaging ailments. This build can do most mechanics, but I do not recommend it for farming no-hit Sanctum because this build doesn't apply freeze, which is a major defense for running no-hit Sanctum. Alright, that's it for today's video. I would greatly appreciate it if you can leave a like or subscribe to my channel. Thank you and see you next time.